space of bhakti devotion, the space of surrender that occurs to you from this devotion moves you from I, which is so heavy, to the God or Guru. This surrender allows us to drop all the unnecessary baggage from the head. One of the beautiful pujas in Hinduism is Rudrabhishekam. In Rudrabhishekam, we offer sacred bath to the Shivalinga while chanting a powerful mantras. The Shivalinga is a deity which beautifully represents the divine. It, its form indicates how God is beyond form and formless. In puja, we sit down and connect with the God by performing the Rudrabhishekam. O Sadashiva, O God, I know you are the source of everything. You are everything, and you are in this Shivalinga, and you are in this body. Let me connect with you. Let you reveal yourself to me. When we sit in that power, we sit with that context and do the action of Rudrabhishekam. We experience the Bhava Samadhi. Only in Bhava Samadhi can give us the highest taste and higher joy in life. Rudrabhishekam is a beautiful ritual which allows us to experience the Bhava Samadhi of Shivoham, that I am the divine. When you are integrated to the morning spiritual routine, you manifest Shaktis and spiritual powers with the with when you are integrated to this morning spiritual routine. If you just follow this morning 5 hours, enough. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism says that you will have Vak Shakti, that is, whatever you say will become reality. All Shaktis manifesting in you, because all the obstacles for manifesting Shaktis, the tiredness, the boredom, pitta, fatigue, everything will be churned out in that morning 5 hours. The morning puja is the most powerful mandala process. Shakti Pata, melting your being, and then sitting and listening to the sacred truths, constantly inspiring, engaging, alive, awakening. Just this morning 5 hours. If you can bring integrity and authenticity, all the obstacles stopping you from power manifestation will disappear. Some may think that I can do the morning spiritual routine from my home. You can perform all the spiritual practices by yourself, like the morning yoga and Nitya Puja. But there will always be a risk of losing your initial inspiration and excitement after a few days and or after few weeks. Living in the enlightenment ecosystem, even if your boredom or tiredness try to pull you down, the Sangha will support you, help you by giving the wake up call and supporting you to complete your incompletions. In Sanatana Hindu Dharma, coming back to the revival of the temple ecosystems, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continue to explain that in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, we had at least 10,000 sampradayas, religious, spiritual traditions, keeping this enlightenment science alive. Each Hindu sampradaya is a spiritual ecosystem created for keeping enlightenment science alive. Every monastery, every adhinam, every mutt, every temple, every Veda Patashala, every Sarvajna Pita is a lineage, sampradaya created to keep the ecosystem of spiritual enlightenment alive. Some may be a Shakta. These are the various traditions or sampradayas in Sanskrit. Some may be a Shakta, some may be a Yoga, some may be Vedanta, some may be Tantra, some may be Shakta Vedanta, some may be Shaiva Tantra, some may be Yoga Vedanta, some may be Yoga Shaiva, some may be Vaidika Shaiva, all kinds of permutation and combination. Each temple, each mutt, each monastery, each adhinam, each Veda Patashala, each Sannyasa Sampradaya is a spiritual ecosystem created to keep the enlightenment science alive of that Sampradaya. Join now. This COVID care protection centers register now through the link below https colon forward slash kailasa.org /Kailasa care. Now let us see the glimpses from the morning spiritual routine from the Adi Kailasa Sarvajna Peetam. More glimpses from the members enrolled in Kailasa's COVID protection initiative as they practice the morning spiritual routine, which consists of Nithyananda Yoga, Guru Puja, and Shiva Puja as a Nitya Puja daily routine, and the listening of the Satsangs. In the enlightenment ecosystem of the headquarters of Adi Kailasa, Bidadi, Bangalore. We just had understood that the morning spiritual routine makes up the first 5 hours everyone's day, including the Panchakriya. It is one of the most fundamental and vital practice for seeker, anyone on the path to achieve enlightenment, to achieve the ultimate superconsciousness space of Paramashivoham. More glimpses of this morning spiritual routine from the Adi Kailasa Sarvajnapeetam, India. Some more glimpses from the morning spiritual routine. Some more glimpses that you can see. Some more glimpses. The puja by the participants of these COVID care centers from Adi Kailasa Sarvajnapeetam. So join now of these COVID care protection centers and register now through the link below https colon // kailasa.org / Kailasa care. We'll continue this after a short break. Now let's have some more understanding from the revelations of the Devi Parashakti and what is the need for joining these Kailasas multi-layered quarantine opportunity for India. And joining these COVID care protection centers during the COVID-19 as a practical solution, resulting in health, joy, and bliss. Let's listen from Devi Revelations, which is in language, and we will have the translation of the Devi's Revelations.
நீ சொல்லும் நபர்கள் போடும் சண்டை சச்சரவெல்லாம் எரியும் பெருநெருப்பில் இருக்கும் இரண்டு எலிகள் போடும் சண்டை போன்றது. யார் சரி யார் தவறென்பது இப்பொழுது முக்கியம் அல்ல. உயிர் காத்துக் கொள்ளுங்கள், எல்லோரும் நன்றாய் புரிந்து கொள்ளுங்கள். நன்மையைச் சொல்லுகின்றேன், உண்மையைச் சொல்லுகின்றேன். இந்திய நாட்டில் இருக்கும் மக்கள் எல்லோரும் கேளுங்கள். கருட புராணத்தில் வியாசன் சொன்ன கிருமி போஜனம் என்னும் நரகம் திறந்து நேரடியாய் இந்தியா மீது இடிபோல் விழுகின்றது. ஆதி கைலாசத்திற்கு ஓடிச் சென்று வருமுன் காத்துக்கொள்வது மட்டுமே ஒரே வழி. கொரோனா பெருந்தொற்று கொள்ளை நோய் கிருமி போஜனம் எனும் நரகத்தை பூமிக்கு கொண்டு வந்து விட்டது. அகோர தாண்டவத்தின் ஆட்டம் யாராலும் அடக்க முடியாத அளவிற்கு ஆரம்பித்து விட்டது. புதிதாய் உருக்கொண்டிருக்கும் இந்த நுண்ணுயிரி மைல்கள் கடந்தும் காற்றினில் உயிரோடு இருந்து மற்ற உயிர்களையும் அழித்து உடல்களை தின்னும் பெரும் வலிவு கொண்ட பேரசுரர்களாய் வலம் வரத் துவங்கி விடுகின்றது. நன்றாய் புரிந்து கொள்ளுங்கள். வருமுன் காத்துக் கொள்ளுங்கள், அது ஒன்றே வழி. அதற்காகவே ஆதி கைலாசத்தை திறந்து வைத்திருக்கின்றேன். உயிர் காத்துக் கொள்ள வேண்டி விரும்பும் எல்லோரும் ஓடுங்கள் ஆதி கைலாசத்திற்கு. இந்தியாவில்தான் இந்த நரகம் திறந்து உலகெங்கும் பரவப் போகின்றது. கிருமி போஜன நரகம் பூமிக்கு வந்துவிட்டது. மனிதர்கள் செய்த மகா கொடுமைகளினால். அன்னை முன்னின்று என் அடியவரை காப்பேன் சொல்வதை கேட்டு உயிர் காத்துக் கொள்ள விரும்புவோர் வருமுன் காப்பது ஒன்றே வழி என்று தெரிந்து செல்லுங்கள் ஆதி கையிலைக்கு. ஓம் ஓம். நீ
The translation of what Devi Parashakti revealed in this video on 31st May 2021, that everyone in India, all of you listen. The hell of Krimi Bhojanam that was mentioned by the Vyasa in Garuda Puranam has opened and is directly falling on India as thunder, running to Adi Kailasa and protection. From it is the only way: protection by preventive quarantine. Deadly corona, life-taking disease, has brought the hell known as Krimi Bhojanam to earth. The dance of Agora Thandava, which no one could control, has started. This microorganism that has formed will be alive in air for miles together. Destroying other souls, it will eat bodies. It has started the roaming as the great demons with tremendous strength. Understand properly, prevention is the only way. For that, I have opened Adi Kailasa. For those who want to save their lives, all of you run to Adi Kailasa. Only in India, this hell is going to open and is going to spread to the whole world. The Krimi Bhojanam hell has come to the earth because of the sufferings done by the humans. Mother, I will protect those at my feet, those who listen to me and wish to save their lives. Learning that prevention is the only way, go to Adi Kailasa. The various scriptural references of the Krimi Bhojanam or Krimi Bhojana are from the various scriptures references. Krimi Bhojana is one of the 28 hells described in Hindu scriptures. That means people are sent to suffer in a pit to be eaten up by the worms. In Garuda Purana, cosmology of hell and the nether regions. In Devi Bhagavata Purana, we find the reference. Devi Bhagavata Purana, various references on chapter 21 on narrative of hells and chapter 22 on the narrative of the sins leading to hells. And in the Shiva Purana, chapter 16, uplift from hell, section 5, and Skanda Purana, chapter 12, redemption of hells, chapter 2, the merit of visiting Setu, chapter 38, the glory of Danishkoti, and Brahmanda Purana, chapter 12, 20, the hell in nether regions, and chapter 106, sufferings in hell, and in Padma Purana, chapter 48, section on the nether world. And you see the various statistics of this corona around the world. The total deaths so far 3 million, and the total confirmed cases are close to 140 million. And various statistics suggest that the COVID now is airborne. Scientists say now that authorities think so too. A quiet revolution has permeated global health circles. Authorities have come to accept what many researchers have argued for over a year. The coronavirus has spread through the air. The new acceptances by the World Health Organization and the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention comes with the concrete implications. Scientists are calling for ventilation systems to be overhauled, like public water supplies were in the 1800s after petite pipes were found to harbor cholera. Clearer indoor air won't just fight the pandemic, it will minimize the risk of catching flu and other respiratory infections that cost the US more than 50 billion a year. Research said in a study in the journal Science on Friday. According to these germs and their associated sickness, the productivity losses would therefore offset the cost of upgrading the ventilation and filtration in the buildings. The various newspaper articles published that, and the various statistics um, uh, are, you can see the statistics that corona is now airborne and spreading so um, fast that home quarantine is not possible, and even the government making statements. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma said that home quarantine is the prime reason for the large number of deaths during the second wave of corona um, in Assam. And the Economic Times, the Maharashtra government recently announced the decision to stop home quarantine in 18 districts, which show higher COVID positivity rate than the state's average. State Public Health Minister Rajesh Tope said that the decision to ensure better healthcare facilities to patients in districts which are showing the higher positivity rate. I see the home quarantine is not possible in India. The business line published recently that because of the majority of the people, about 41% of the houses have just one room, or 32% of the room just in two rooms, and an average 3 to 5 people live in one room. And in order to utilize the India's healthcare infrastructure optimally to manage the expanding fallout of coronavirus, the central government on 27th April signaled to change the approach from mandating that every person who tests positive for the virus be moved to isolation beds in dedicated hospitals or units. The government allowed home quarantine for those who with mild symptoms. The key additional condition was that their house should allow for self quarantining, that in India it's easier than said than done. Now, you see the various statistics, various articles publishing that it is impossible to um, do the home quarantine in India. When the first world countries closed their borders during a massive global emergency, Kailasa has opened its doors to all without exception. Join now in Kailasa's COVID care protection centers and save life. And the link is http:// kailasa.org/Kailasa care. Now we will be moving on to the next segment of this program after a short break.
What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model communities. Kailasas, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world.
all powerful cognition, knowledge. Only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth.
Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystem.
I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects.
Spiritual, the spiritual prosperity will happen to whole planet Earth. We all have to coexist together.
Nithyanandam, welcome back to all of the viewers who are joining us today. I'm sure every one of you is eagerly awaiting the live satsang with the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism will be gracing us at 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So please make sure that you are staying tuned for the further updates and you're sharing, and we will be graced with the divine presence of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism at 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time. It's going to be a very beautiful way that each and every one of us can sit in his divine presence, soak in the beautiful, powerful cognitions that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism will be continuing to reveal on conscious sovereignty. And of course, I'd like to remind all of the viewers that even as the satsang is going on, you can comment any of your questions regarding conscious sovereignty or any of your experiences or anything you'd like in the comment section, or you can do through the chat on the chat in YouTube chat, or as well in Facebook, Twitter. You can reply to the live feed and use the hashtag #AskTheAvatar as well. And in this way, you will be able to beautifully be able to interact personally. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism might as well just answer your question during the live satsang and see all of your comments, see and bless each and every one of you who asked the question. So you can ask your questions and ask if you feel you have any doubts, sincerely seeking the higher truth that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is giving, then you can ask your questions in the comment section through Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter. And later on, we will be understanding how exactly you can ask your questions as well. And we can take a few minutes now to also share this program link. Let's share with all of your family and friends, everyone who is joining us today, about how you can, how you should and you want to share this satsang, the Nithyananda satsang, and share the news that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself will be coming for the live satsang. He will be gracing us at 10 o'clock at 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And each and every one of us will be going through the next segment in today's program on the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. In the month of July, as we are coming to an end, we are strongly introspecting ourselves and also doing a deep retrospect of what the actions each and every one of us Hindus have taken now, having cognized and become aware of the persecution that is ongoing against Hindus. Over the course of the last 1 month, we have been every single day presenting to each and every one of you the violence and genocide against Hindus across the world, especially in India, and even in the place where Hinduism was sourced, where Hinduism was born. We are facing so much of attack and no question of safety in the very land where Hinduism once thrived. And in so many different ways, we are seeing how Hinduism does not have any place, a safe place, to where a person who wants to live authentically the Hindu lifestyle is able to do so without risking their lives. And that is why the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is establishing and continues to establish the Hindu civilizational nation of Kailasa, bringing political legitimacy, social legitimacy to Sanatana Hindu Dharma once again. That is one of the amazing reasons for why Kailasa, why we need Kailasa, the nation of Kailasa today. We were once a thriving, sprawling Hindu civilization with more than 56 different nations. But today, we are absolutely zero. We don't have even one nation. And we must, at least now, understand the need for a Hindu nation. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is literally the foremost advocate for bringing Sanatana Hindu Dharma and its teachings, reviving its teachings, and ensuring that the Sanatana Hindu Dharma, the teachings of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, continue to serve the world as they have been for millennia. And as the foremost leader, as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is doing so much to revive this nation and stand for the most progressive ideologies in the world right now. Stand for empowerment of women and global animal welfare, as well as the equal and infinite rights of all people with zero discrimination against caste, background, race, class, anything, and even with the equal and infinite rights given to all of the LGBT plus, and no matter what sexual orientation you might be coming from, no matter what race, no matter what your skin color, everything the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is standing for and continuing to revive these Hindu teachings in order to serve the world, empower people in as Hinduism does in its truest, most authentic form. And from the very beginning of the mission, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, from the very beginning of this venture, this absolutely impressive and tremendous revival of Sanatana Hindu Dharma through the nation, through the revival of the nation of Kailasa, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been continuously standing for, giving a strong stance and supporting the right in Sanatana Hindu Dharma for all women to be empowered infinitely, to be empowered for their infinite consciousness. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, though this might be a very taboo or even progressive stance that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has taken, he still has been standing by it, and no matter what, ensuring continuously that he is standing by these extremely profound, strong stances where all women in Kailasa are even given the right to worship, are given the right to take up sannyas, and given the right to live a violence-free life, which women across the world do not even, are very rarely women are able to say for themselves. They live in a violence-free world strongly, without even a question of the safety in the hands of whom they are trusting. And yet the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has successfully created ecosystems where so many different women could be empowered. And today, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is recognized for his tremendous amount of work in bringing the status of the violence against women, reporting the status of the violence against women in India and against Hindu women to the United Nations, to the UN. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the foremost leader and advocate for eliminating all violence against women. And the work that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is doing for this is literally creating so many different concrete measures in order to eliminate violence, in order to create conflict-free and violence-free ecosystems. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has done so, has shown by example, be it any of the Hindu ecosystems where literally women are able to express themselves, express their inner strength, and harness their inner strength to take up and be empowered in leadership positions, in administrative positions. In Kailasa, around the world, more than 2/3 of the leadership positions are filled by women. And women take the leading stance, and women are the leadership positions in the government structure of Kailasa, not just in the main government structure, but Kailasas across the world. In all the different leadership positions, women are taking up more than 2/3 of the roles, which is actually a majority of the leadership positions and administrative roles in Kailasa. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has literally created this place, a beautiful environment where women are empowered, women can heal from any kind of trauma that they have been through, women are sheltered and protected if they are targeted for any kind of violence by neo-Hindutva militant forces. And in this preceding segment, what we will be understanding and going into is specifically how the United Nations has recognized the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism for bringing to light and reporting the amount of femicide ongoing against Hindu marginalized communities in India and as well as around the world. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has literally been working for so many years in order to create this femicide observatory where we are analyzing the amount of violence, the crimes against women, and the gender-based killings that have been happening for the last 1,000 years, including even uncovering some of the dehumanized and invisible amount of crimes that have been happening even in the last 2 decades. And the Supreme Council of Hinduism has been continuously reporting and ensuring to report. And now the United Nations has accepted and recognized the report given by Kailasa on the violence and femicide against the women of Kailasa. And the United Nations has published this on their website, the Human Rights Commission, and in the website, in the page for the UN Special Rapporteur for femicide. And it's an amazing step that the United Nations has seen the amount of violence that has been going on. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has literally brought light and shed light onto the immense amount of crimes that have been going on and taken a step towards eliminating violence against women and Hindu women once and for all. And in this report, we have understood the various different persecutions and relentless killings and violence that Hindu women have been through for the last 1,000 years. In fact, the Adi Shaivite minority tradition, which is the community of Kailasa, the marginalized community, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is actively reviving, has been subject for thousands of years to persecution, whether it is the Mughal invasion, whether it is the British occupation and enslavement of the entire population and entire civilization of Hindu women. And not only that, the Hindu women have been subject to the most horrifying different kinds of violence, that now finally we are able to show the international audience and tell the international audience the truth of what has been happening. Whether it is the persecution by politically owned media or the violent sexual objectification of the women, Hindu women of Kailasa, or the fact that there is absolutely no recourse, no legal recourse in India, or the persecution of Hindu nuns by the state, or the violence by neo Hindutva militant forces and targeted against Hindu women specifically, and strategized to be using these Hindu women as weapons against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself. And there have been so many different acts of violence over the years. And I myself, as a woman and even as a child, having been brought up in this community, have seen with my own eyes the amount that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has undergone, has sacrificed literally to ensure that an ecosystem is established to protect Hindu women and to empower Hindu women. Whether we see in 2012, in 2010, of course, before that, in 2012, in 2014, 2015, 2017, no matter what, we have seen the genocide and attacks against the Adinams across Kailasas, in every single Kailasa in India. There isn't even one Adinam or even one Hindu sannyasi and Hindu women sannyasi in the order of the Nithyananda order of sannyasi that has not been through this kind of extreme violence by the neo-Hindutva militant forces. And I myself was shocked to see and hear the stories of so many different women who have undergone the extent of violence against themselves, their person, their character in the media, absolutely being decharacterized and sexually objectified in the media, in front and in the face of the whole public, who knows you and starts to shun you and shame you for nothing but taking up this lifestyle of non-violence and service to the world. Over just the course of 5 years, I have literally been able to see how so many women sannyasis, the Hindu women who have selflessly taken up this lifestyle of service to the whole world and wanted to be devoted and devotedly live with the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, in the lifestyle that the Supreme Pontiff
Do
of
the
Hinduism
following
is
process.
teaching.
Just go to Chrome in the search parameters in the left column and put will
not
come up.
being able
Click
to
on
do so
the at
because
least 10
of
letters
the
with at
acts
least
of
one small.
violence
One
that
is
have been
cheaper than the other
continuously,
because you are committing for a longer
targeted and
length of
attacked
time in
against
the upper
Adinams
right corner
and
later to
peoples
buy one using PayPal
inside of
or your.
Kailasa. And we've seen this in several different ways. If we see first and foremost the ways that the neo-Hindutva militant forces have been attacking the women of Kailasa primarily, for which we have tons of evidence, but still no legal recourse, is the persecution by politically owned media. And it started with the sensational screening and manufacture of misinformation and hate speech, marginalizing the minority communities and especially targeting Hindu women. And this is by using the deep fake and morphing technologies that is available to many different neo-Hindutva militant forces to target Hindu women, especially 2010, when a fabricated video of ASMT actress Ranjita was broadcasted in order to defame her character, destroy her entire career, and delegitimize her guru and our beloved guru, the supreme pontiff of Hinduism. And New Hindutva affiliated media published articles with morphed pictures, with fake and fabricated videos, and articles of fake interviews of even ASMT and the children of Kailasa. For example, in 2017, the articles were published morphing the pictures of a 16-year-old child and 16-year-old girl who was a Nithyananda Gurukul Balasans, morphing her picture and putting that on the bodies of actresses and pornographic actresses, and even faking interviews with this very 16-year-old girl. And not only that, completely demoralizing and characterizing her as for what she stands for, making her absolutely afraid of what could happen, and her lifestyle choices. And unfortunately, they have even characterized each and every one of the women of Kailasa as even addressed them as brainwashed, as even saying that they were sodomized disciples, calling them witches and prostitutes and cult worshippers. These are the exact terminologies that the Neo-Hindutva militant forces, as well as the invading forces and missionary forces, have always been using in order to delegitimize, decharacterize, and continue the violence against the Hindu women. And even by using different titles such as Hang the Sin Swamis in the different media articles, these are always the examples of violence inciting media articles, which literally incite so much violence, and at least in the opinion of the public, they are criminalizing Hindu women and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And not only this, in the media we have seen so many different women who have been whose narratives and articles have been published in the media, and absolutely posting false different narratives, and so many victims who had undergone so much of trauma, pain, even as children, including, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself as well, victims who were then projected in the media and told to be a liar, told to be brainwashed, and absolutely marginalizing each and every one of us, making the crime itself seem so belittled, and being so and making that itself invisible. This is what is called secondary victimization. First, victimizing the victim, victimizing the children, the women of Kailasa through brutal force, through rape, and through sexualization, and through sexual molestation, child molestation, and then secondarily victimizing them by making them undergo so much of violence in terms of the amount of questioning that they have to go through by the media, interrogation that is absolutely baseless, and shaming them in public, and literally questioning their most sacred of their values, their own relationship, and their own beautiful sacred sentiment with the Guru. And though we have seen multiple accounts of violence against the women of Kailasa, and though we have seen so many accounts of rape, molestation, and blackmail against women, we have not been able to successfully, in any case, have the legal recourse in India, especially through the media. If we see, the media is easily able to sway the opinion of the public and even the court judges. And court judgments are even not honored by the media. For example, from 2010, 2011, the ASMT actress Ranjita had literally been going court to court, even to the Karnataka High Court, and several associated channels as well as different courts in order to file petition and to seek justice for the crimes done against her. And yet, even though courts had ordered in her favor, still the media never honored the court judgments and willfully continued their decharacterization by streaming 14,000 hours of hateful content against her and other women of Kailasa. And while we're seeing this, in contrast, there still has been some cases of legal recourse outside of India, just to show the contrast to all the viewers. In India, while there's been no legal recourse, and even if a Hindu sannyasi goes to the police and asks for some kind of acceptance of their complaint, still her police complaint is rejected, is not accepted, and even though she has gone to the length of writing and reproducing that trauma inside of her, still never it has been accepted and never been taken forward to receive justice against her attackers and her offenders and the neo-Hindutva militants who attacked her. While on the other side, in the USA, even in 2017, US courts had penalized media for defamatory content targeting the ASMT, the Adi Shaivite minority tradition community, and penalized $5 million against a media channel. If you see just this contrast, you can see how in the corruption has gone to such an extent that there is no way that any woman could find legal recourse in India. Even a well-established and hardworking actress who one might find, whom one might think is able to receive justice for the acts of crime done against her, still, because this is a targeted attack against women of Kailasa and the disciples and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, there is so much of attack ongoing against the women of Kailasa and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And not only that, we have seen the persecution of Adi Shaivite minority tradition Hindu nuns, even by state authorities. If we see so many different cases where in 2012, 16 women were arbitrarily arrested in the middle of June at 6 p.m. at night, even though it is absolutely illegal for women to be held against her will anywhere outside of her home in India. It is illegal for women to be held in any place that is not her home after 6 p.m. And what the events, the sequence of events that happened in 2012 literally shows how the Hindu nuns have been targeted for nothing but being disciples of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and for being strong, standing for the revival of Hinduism, which was exactly against the agenda of the state and against the agenda of the neo-Hindutva militant forces. If we see on 6th June 2012, the media had literally raided the Adinam in Bidadi, in Adi Kailasa Sarvagnipitam, and we even have footage of all of the attacks which happened in 2012. And women were being brutally mobbed, being violated and attacked. And that was being filmed and broadcasted in national television. And in so many different cases, women were brutally raped and were sexually molested. In the case Manitya Achalananda Swami, Manitya Bhaktikananda Swami, Manitya Shraddhananda Swami, Manitya Jnanatmananda Swami, every single one had been brutally sexually molested during these raids of the entire Adinam, where literally the neo-Hindutva militants had jumped over the gate and attacked Adinavasis, destroyed property, and continued absolute destruction of the entire property, creating havoc of all kinds. And yet, within less than 24 hours, these women that have named were suddenly called by the police, called by state authorities, and were arrested. For what reason? The anti-Hindu, the militant forces had, in this time between the attacks, had filed a case against these women so that they would not be able to file for legal recourse. It seems there is a technical glitch. We can stop the share and start again. Yes. Yes. So overnight, women were unable to speak for themselves, were held against their will in the state authorities in prison overnight. And we were, in this time, the women had undergone so much of violence, being absolutely ridiculed, harassed, and molested by state authorities in prison on this very night. And the women, specifically Manitya Achalananda Swami, Manitya Bhaktikananda Swami, and all of these women have written their sharings, have reproduced and had literally gone through that trauma again and again, writing again and again the trauma that they have been through, and trying to file in any police station for the crimes that were done against them. But they were not able to find any kind of legal recourse, and their attempts to find justice and seek some sort of healing, legitimate healing for themselves, was absolutely rejected. And still, again, we're finding that there is no legal recourse happening in India, and the actions of the media continue to exacerbate the amount of violence which was targeted by the neo-Hindutva militant forces. And continuously, these acts would again and again be exaggerated and start to escalate. And each and every one of you can see literally the attacks that have been happening in 2012 and subsequently in 2017, how raids and the neo-Hindutva militant forces had raided the Adinam, had destroyed the property, and literally stoned each and every one of us. And continuously, there was never any legal recourse for what had happened. And thankfully today, now we're seeing the exact footage of what had happened during the 2012 attacks. And the first thing, which was even broadcasted in national television, is in order to tell the truth to the media of the allegations that were recently filed and recently being spread in the media on the allegations of rape against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, where we were producing the medical reports of the so-called victim, and in that press meet where we were producing the truth about the baseless allegations against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, a neo-Hindutva militant leader had attempted to breach the security of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and literally attempt to assassinate him with an anthrax bomb, which we are able to see. And immediately the security had immediately leaped up in order to secure the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and guide him to security. And now you can see the women of Kailasa being subject to the most brutal acts of violence against them, whether it's molestation and brutal assault against them. And within just a matter of a few minutes, within just 15 to 20 minutes, the neo-Hindutva militants had executed the next stage in their elaborate plan to literally take down and destroy the work of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Within a few minutes, the neo-Hindutva militant forces had raided the Adinam and literally had jumped over the gate, and they had employed the Navanirmana Sena in order to execute their acts of violence. And that night, even the administrators of the Adi Kailasa Sarvigna Peetham were attacked and needed to be rushed to the hospital. And numerous women were all brutally assaulted and molested during these raids. Here you can see that very footage of the huge mob attacking, throwing stones across the gate, and jumping over the gate and literally beating and using brute violence against the administrators and the Adi Navasis of Kailasa. And you can see even women absolutely defenseless against the mob that had raided the Adinam. And this very footage was submitted to the police in order to seek justice for what had happened against this female sannyasi. However, still today, there is no justice which has been delivered from the complaints that were filed. And still today, those cases are held up in
Grammarly
court
can
and
help you
not
write quickly and
finding the
confidently,
justice
so you
against
never have to slow down at work.
the
Stay on
people
top.
who had
is preparing an
who had
email
literally
campaign
been
showcasing Weaver or
attacking these innocent
so he moves one of
Hindu
the blocks to
sannyasis.
another place in the email.
And as you can see here, the administrators of Adi Kailasa Sarvignapeetham, having been attacked,
And
needed to be
personalization.
rushed to the hospital and were bleeding profusely from the head and needed to have immediate medical attention and medical procedures done on them in order to save their lives. And yet, still in the media, no matter what, there's been always only hateful content which has never shown the truth of what is going on. Still, only the sensational screening and manufacture of misinformation and hate speech is continuing to marginalize the minority communities and targeting the Hindu women. And especially, this is using deepfake technology and the different morphing technologies, and still that is being done against the Supreme Court of Hinduism and the women of Kailasa. Here you can see on the following day, the women of Kailasa wanted to speak out and hold another press meet in order to tell the media the truth of what was going on. And yet another attack ensued inside of the Adinam in order to withhold the truth from being told in the media, as well to enforce more brute violence against the Hindu sannyasis and the women of Kailasa. And within just hours of this attack, these women, without even being told, were arrested and not even told what for they were getting arrested. Then they were held by the state authorities. And literally, day after day, these women of Kailasa had to undergo the worst kind of violence. In 2012, the government acts against the minority, the Kailasa was specifically extreme. How within a few days, the Supreme Court of Hinduism was illegally arrested, and subsequently, the CM of Karnataka had declared that the Adinam be sealed entirely and taken over by the government, which is absolutely illegal. And then the Adinam was literally sealed, and inside of the Adinam, police enforcement was used in order to continue to detain the Adinavasis, the residents of the Adinam, and the residents of Kailasa were denied even food and basic human rights in order to survive. And especially the children of Kailasa were absolutely by the amount of violence ongoing. The children of Kailasa in the subsequent attack against the whole Adina had needed to be protected, and at this time, even the bank accounts of the Adinam were frozen, and we could we could not even get the proper food and arrange for the proper food for the children in Nithyananda Paramashivam. As in this time, the entire Adinam was sealed and taken over by the government. So in this way, we are continuing to see
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
Hey guys, Kelly West here. I just want to do it so many times, but now I want to show you how you can use it in your group. So if you have a free group, a boot camp for your personal training clients, any kind of thing that you have a private group for on Facebook, you can literally populate that so that you have a status, a question, a tip going out every day really, really easily. So what I'll do is I'll show you on the screen what I did for my boot camp. I've just done one for Ditch the Junk, and basically I just thought of about 30 things. It's a 30-day boot camp. So I thought of 30 things that would work really, really well for the girls, and basically I just did this in an Excel sheet. So as you can see, going through, loads of little ideas. I'm trying to focus it and not being about, what you're eating so much, making it fun, making it more, lifestyle orientated and things like that. And then all I did with that is I saved this is an Excel sheet, and saved that as a CSV file, sorry. And then all you have to do is you go to bulk buffer and then you upload it. Now
and videos, especially this the criminal activities of the Neo-Hindutva militant forces surfaced in 2010 when a fabricated video was broadcasted on national television of the ASMT actress Ranjita, and was repeatedly played and sensationally broadcast to defame her character and delegitimize her guru, delegitimize the supreme pontiff of Hinduism. And Neo-Hindutva affiliated media then published articles again and again with over 14,000 hours of footage of hate speech being broadcasted on the media, and tens of thousands of media articles as well being published as well, and different kinds of decharacterization and assassination of the character by using phrasing such as sodomized disciples, brainwashed witches, and prostitutes, literally, and also saying by using these prejudicial narratives, they would always project the entire event and narrative in a completely manipulative way that would confuse the entire public, even though majority of the public saw the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and followed the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as a guru, who were devoted and were devoted Hindus. The media's strategy was to confuse and silence the public in order to continue the silence and to ensure that their acts of violence could continue on. In this way, we have seen how so many different people have had acts of violence done against them. And here you can see the illegal arrest of the women sannyasis, where they were not even told why they were being arrested or what was going on. And they were subject to the worst kind of ridicule, harassment, molestation in the hands of the authorities. And they were not giving any kind of choice as to what they could do, not given any kind of clarity or legal aid even to help themselves and to aid themselves, and even treated, manhandled, and abused by the officials who were.
I'm going to show you, this is an actual buffer. So you go into bulk buffer and you bulk upload it all in, and this is what's happened. So as you can see, this is my Ditch the Junk group, and I've set it so on the schedule that every morning at 7 o'clock, I have some women in Cyprus, you see, so they're 2 hours ahead. It goes out at that time every day of the week. So as you can see, and what I've done since, I've actually gone in and made them a bit more substantial than the one-liners. You can do this in the CSV file, but I wanted it just to be quick and I wanted to test it. And look, these are all in here now for the duration of the bootcamp, which is great. And what I have been doing is actually inputting the workouts as well too. As you can have a look at this, I've done this on Canva, and it's just a really super quick, fun way to do it. And I think the girls will like it. So I just wanted to, let you know, and hopefully you'll be able to try it out too. Any questions, just let me know. Bye.
Each and every song in the world that you hear is made
and continuously, as you are seeing, we have been subject to all kinds of different violence in the hands of anti-Hindu militant forces, the neo-Hindutva militant forces. And today, thanks to the immense amount of work, the tremendous amount of
from
hard
these
work the Supreme Court
12 notes.
has done, and his sacrifice for each and every one of the Hindu women. Today, at least in some way or form, our voices are being heard. The United Nations has recognized the acts of violence done against the Hindu women. I request each and every one of the viewers, as we are awaiting the divine presence of the Supreme Court of Hinduism, please take a few minutes and explore the link where the United Nations has recognized the work of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to eliminate the violence against women of Kailasa and eliminate violence against women as well. And you can explore and see for yourself the way the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is representing and advocating for the elimination of violence in the United Nations and in the United Nations Special Rapporteur of Femicide. Among so many different civil society organizations, in this, the representative for India is only Kailasa, only the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who has brought to light, who has brought to the international audience the immense amount of violence going on in order to eliminate it once and for all. Even though the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself has undergone so much and himself been in the hands of the neo-Hindutva militant forces, literally inches away from being assassinated himself, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has continued to ensure that each and every one of us is empowered and stands so that we can live our lives as we want to, as we had declared want to live, as sannyasis, as rudrakanyas, as brahmacharis, as balasams, and live a life powerfully. This is terrifying footage of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism being handled by the mob and literally inches away from an assassination attempt that might have been successful. over the years, whether it is from 2010, 2012, 2017, or 2018, every single year, month after month, we have been seeing brutal attacks against the Supreme Pontiff himself, and the attacks against the women of Kailasa. Even until recently, a bioweapon was launched and deployed against the Adi Kailasa Sarvagna Peetham. And the Neo-Hindutva militant forces are still trying their best in order to destroy the mission of Hindus. And continuously, by targeting the women of Kailasa, the women and children of Kailasa, we have been seeing how the Neo-Hindutva affiliated media, as well as you can see here, have published articles with pictures of the ASMT Hindu nuns, as well as with children, and literally used captions such as sodomized disciples, and they targeted the ASMT minor girls by publishing pictures and morphing them in national newspapers. And as you can see here, they literally denied the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism his right to worship and right for religion. And due to this, there wouldn't be any religious leader in any different sense, in every different religion, in any different country, who would be treated in such a foul and dehumanizing way. And yet it is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism who has literally advocated for the elimination of violence more so than any person today. And today, having been recognized by the United Nations and having this persecution recognized by the United Nations literally means so much for the movement that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is doing to eliminate violence against women, where we are bringing to light and reporting the crimes and violence and femicide in marginalized communities and the indigenous Hindu women and the indigenous Hindu women who were subjugated and made invisible by misogynist, sexist groups for thousands of years. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has done so by empowering women, many of whom are targets or have once been victims of the Neo-Hindutva militant forces, and empowering them through the various orders of Kailasa as well. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has started and supported the research and studies undertaken to analyze femicide or gender-related killings against Hindu women in India, as well as against the global Hindu diaspora. As well, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has established the concrete measures taken to improve support to victims of violence and protect these victims and prevent femicide overall. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has done literally the most in order to prevent femicide from happening by establishing these Hindu ecosystems which are absolutely violence-free. And by physically protecting the victims of or targets of the Neo-Hindutva militant forces through the monasteries, through these peaceful shelters and places, safe havens for women to recover from trauma and undergo peaceful transformation while they're recovering as well. as well, the Supreme Council of Hinduism has been empowering women with leadership roles and successfully even established more than 2/3 of the leadership positions in Kailasa being filled by women. The Supreme Council of Hinduism has also ensured for reporting on the good practices and challenges in implementing an evidence-based response. And this report are continuously being shown and told the world through the various different social media and through the as well through the Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations movement, the global initiative in order to bring peace to the world and work alongside the United Nations as well in bringing peace to the world and ending all gender-based violence. As well, the Supreme Council of Hinduism has reported on the result of the analysis of femicide cases as well, by showing that there has been no legal recourse in several of these cases, and how there have been so many different reports of women who have not been able to get the legal recourse of for what they have been through and the trauma that they have been through. As well, the Supreme Council of Hinduism has supported, provided guidance and empowerment to the victims and targets of these acts of violence by the Neo-Hindutva militant forces, and has supported at least to seek justice, seek healing, and allow for the legal recourse to happen for the crimes done against them. And in so many different ways, we have seen how this violence happened. And the Supreme Council of Hinduism has been continuously working and ensuring that that there is no longer any violence against the victims and women. Has ensured that there will be no way that anyone can harm a woman from Kailasa, can harm a Hindu woman, and restoring the sacred sentiment of Hindu women across the world, reviving the way that women are worshipped in Sanatana Hindu Dharma. The Supreme Council of Hinduism has been literally the world's foremost leading advocate for eliminating gender-based killings, femicide, and violence against women against Hindu women and in India, as well as against the global Hindu diaspora. And today, the United Nations has recognized the amount of work that the Supreme Council of Hinduism has done, has published the report that we have submitted to the United Nations, and has ensured and has ensured that each and every one of us who are victims of horrendous crimes are empowered to stand strong and to have our voices heard and end the crimes done against us. And for each and every one of us women, the Supreme Council of Hinduism has literally created these ecosystems to ensure that we are empowered, and we can be empowered, and to show literally the whole world that we can be empowered by the sacred Hindu sentiment of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. But still, there has not been any kind of legal recourse, any kind of acknowledgement and apology by the media to end the violence that has been done against us and that has been done against the Supreme Council of Hinduism. As you can see here, this is footage from the attacks that were done against the Pavalakundru Adinam in 2017. 4 years back, anti-Hindu militant forces raided the Adinam, the peaceful monastery in Pavalakundru, a sacred Hindu site for all Kailasians across the world, as it is the very place where the Supreme Council of Hinduism had the beautiful enlightenment experience. And yet today, it is a place, it's still a place of continuous attack, vandalizing, and trespassing by by neo-Hindutva militant forces, and it is still not safe for any woman to live in. And you can see the escalation of the attacks where neo-Hindutva militant forces are literally attacking the women, and while they are protecting their deities with their lives and holding on to them, they're literally being dragged, pulled, assaulted, and even the children amongst them are being sexually assaulted as well. And each and every one of us, as we are coming closer and closer to the live Nithyananda Satsangh happening tonight at 10 p.m., we must realize that it is time now to declare our conscious sovereignty. And we must do that by taking responsibility, understanding the violence done against Hindus, the violence that we have undergone, and what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself has undergone in order to revive Sanatana Hindu Dharma. I encourage each and every one of you to share the link. You can find the link for the published page where the UN has recognized the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism on Facebook, on the official channel for Facebook, on Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda Paramashivam Facebook page. And you will also be able to share this program link as well. Let us share with as many people as possible and make sure that we are doing our part in ensuring what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has done for each and every one of us Hindus is shown to the world, is told to the world, and brought to the international platform, to the international audience. In just a few minutes, we'll be able to have the live darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. I know each and every one of you are awaiting that sincerely. And I encourage each and every one of you, you can also ask your questions on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, on the different social media platforms. And during the live satsang, even interact with the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, and he may grace you with an answer and blessing for your question or your request, and your question might be read out loud during the Nithyananda Satsang as well. So we are just a few minutes away as well for the live Nithyananda Satsang. Let us share this satsang as we are getting prepared for the Nithyananda Satsang. Each and every one of you can spend a few minutes and share this satsang, share this program link, and you can share with all your different, in all of your different social media platforms, perhaps in your favorite one where you're most comfortable, whether that is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. You can go ahead and ask. And in just a few minutes, we'll be starting to get prepared for the live Nithyananda Satsang. and we'll just be getting right back with you and starting to prepare for the live Nithyananda Satsang after a very quick break. Yes, sorry for that technical glitch. Now, in just a few minutes, we'll be getting prepared for the live Nithyananda Satsang, and each and every one of you will be graced with the presence of the divine, the incarnation of Paramashiva himself, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism will be revealing to all of us the sacred truth from Sanatana Hindu Dharma on declaring our conscious sovereignty and being able to manifest our conscious sovereignty. You can take a few minutes now and share this satsang with all of your family, your friends. Let us take these few minutes and share with as many people as possible as we get ready for the Nithyananda Satsang. And as well, I'll be going through with you step by step how you can ask your questions if you would like to, and perhaps even have the grace and blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism during the Nithyananda Satsang. So on YouTube, if you want to ask your question,
there you go.
You can
Thanks,
join as a member
He
of
drill-
the YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel has more than 7,000 videos with more than 20,000 hours of content. And this is the various lessons, the beautiful different initiations by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the oneness capsules, and every solution that you want for your life, whether it is for fear, for lust, for greed, for jealousy, or for not having enough money in your life, for having poor relationships in your life, whatever it is, whatever solution that you want, you can ask, and you can simply find a solution through this channel. So I highly recommend and encourage that you become a member of the YouTube channel today. And if during the Nithyananda Satsang, you can ask your questions live directly through the avatar during the Nithyananda Satsang, you can simply ask your questions in the chat, and only members during the Nithyananda Satsang will be able to comment at this time. And you can join as a member right now and get ready. You can ask any of your questions, your sincere seeking questions to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and you might be just graced by an answer and his blessings during the Nithyananda Satsang. And it's a beautiful way that you can receive his blessings and he can see your messages during this time. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism may even answer your question directly during the Nithyananda Satsang as well. So on Facebook as well, you can go to the Kailasa's main Facebook page and the official handle of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the official page of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism on Facebook at Kailasa's HDH Nithyananda Paramashivam on Facebook. And you can like and follow this page. Make sure that you are liking and following, and you will be able to get any notification for the special darshans, the special dikshas, the satsangs, anytime that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is gracing us live. And there's many times that are unannounced, that are absolutely a surprise. And when the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism graces us, and we are, and in order so that you can never miss a darshan or a diksha or a satsang, you can get the live notifications. And also you can, if you want to, if you perhaps miss, you are commuting or you are at work during any of the darshans or dikshas, you can ask, you can simply go back, scroll down, and see the retelecast or the video of the live satsang. So you'll never even miss a satsang or a darshan or a diksha in case you do have to miss it. make sure that you're liking on Facebook. And as we are just getting closer and closer to the live satsang, you can ensure that you are also, you can ask your questions through Twitter. You can also share this live satsang on Twitter. Just hit retweet to the live Twitter feed of this satsang, and you can ensure that you are asking your questions if you would like to by hitting reply to this tweet on Twitter and using the hashtag #AskTheAvatar, and you can tag @Nithyananda for your questions to be answered by the grace of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism during the Nithyananda Satsang. And as well on Instagram, you can ask your questions as well by commenting on the post for the live satsang. And as well, you can also send in your questions through WhatsApp or through the live chat on the kailasa.org website. So in that way, you will be able to ask your questions. You can ask your questions about anything, about if you are sincerely seeking, or if you are seeking some kind of advice or guidance in your spiritual path, you can ask, and by the grace of the Supreme Pontiff, you'll be able to, might have the guidance you are looking for, or perhaps even more than that, with his blessings and grace. So I invite each and every one of you, if you'd like to, you can ask your questions, you can get ready and ask, and please do spend a few minutes right now and share this satsang. Let us enrich the whole world with the presence of the avatar with us on planet Earth right now, without whom we will not be able to enjoy Sanatana Hindu Dharma, the lifestyle of Sanatana Hindu Dharma as we do today. And we would not be able to be assured that Sanatana Hindu Dharma is absolutely in the right hands and will be protected as the last hope of Hinduism. Now, let us take a few minutes and continue to share in all these different social media platforms. So spend a few minutes now and share in all the different social media platforms, and we will be in just a few minutes able to have the grace of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and sit in his presence and imbibe the cognitions, the powerful cognitions that will be revealed directly from Kailasa, from Paramashiva himself. Yes, we can continue sharing in all the different social media platforms. Soon, we will be able to be in the grace of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Let us now begin getting ready for the darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism by entering into a brief meditation. Sit with your head, neck, and spine in a straight line. Breathe deeply, inhale and exhale, and with the divine remembrance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, now let us enter into this brief meditation before we are in the divine presence of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, getting ready our inner space and preparing ourselves to receive the divine cognition, powerful cognitions from Paramashiva himself. So sit with your head, neck, and spine in straight line. Let us chant the Mahavakya. Invoke the powerful presence of Paramashiva in your inner space with the Mahavakya. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let us now chant together. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham. Om Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda
Connecting with the divine with your eyes closed is meditation. Connecting with the divine with your eyes open is darshan. Come, let us all now move from meditation to darshan. Slowly, very slowly, please open your eyes.
காணாதத கண்டாரே கண்டாரே காணாதத கண்டாரே ஒரு வீடு ஒரு கூடு அட எதுவும் கிடையாதே சாக்காடு பிடிமூப்பு அதையெல்லாம் கடந்தாரே கண்டாரே கைலாசம் கண்டாரே கூத்தாடும் சடையாண்டி அதை குறியா கொண்டாரே காத்தோடு கதவே கடந்தாரே கண்டாரே கைலாசம் கண்டாரே கூத்தாடும் சடையாண்டி அதை குறியா கொண்டாரே காத்தோடு கதை பேசி சிவஞானம் கண்டாரே பத்தோட ஓரட்டு பத்தோட 18 சித்தர்கள் விளையாட்டு எத்தனை பேருக்கு தந்தாரோ கையாட்டு சித்தங்கா போக்கு சிவம்போக்கு என சொன்னாரே பித்தங்கா போக மருந்தாக தனம் வந்தாரே வடகாசி தென்காசி வழியோரன் சித்தரடி அடியாத்தி முடிஞ்சாக்கா அடையாளம் கண்டுபிடி கைலாசம் கண்டாரே கண்டாரே காணாதத கண்டாரே ஒரு வீடு ஒரு கூடு அட எதுவும் கிடையாதே சாக்காடு பிடிமூப்பு அதையெல்லாம் கடந்தாரே கண்டாரே கைலாசம் கண்டாரே கூத்தாடும் சடையாண்டி அதை குறியா கொண்டாரே காத்தோடு கதை பேசி சிவஞானம் கண்டாரே பத்தோட ஓரட்டு பத்தோட 18 சித்தர்கள் விளையாட்டு எத்தனை பேருக்கு தந்தாரோ கையாட்டு சித்தங்கா போக்கு சிவம் போக்கு என சொன்னாரே பித்தங்கா போக மருந்தாக தனம் வந்தாரே வடகாசி தென்காசி வழிதோறும் சித்தரடி அடியாத்தி முடிஞ்சாக்கா அடையாளம் கண்டுபிடி கண்டாரே காணாதத கண்டாரே கண்டாரே கைலாசம் கண்டாரே கண்டாரே காணாதத கண்டாரே ஒரு வீடு ஒரு கூடு அட எதுவும் கிடையாதே சாக்காடு பிடிமூப்பு அதையெல்லாம் கடந்தாரே கண்டாரே கைலாசம் கண்டாரே கூத்தாடும் சடையாண்டி அதை குறியா கொண்டாரே காத்தோடு கதை பேசி சிவஞானம் கண்டாரே பத்தோட ஓரட்டு பத்தோட 18 சித்தர்கள் விளையாட்டு எத்தனை பேருக்கு தந்தாரோ கையாட்டு சித்தங்கா போக்கு சிவம் போக்கு என சொன்னாரே பித்தங்கா போக மருந்தாக தனம் வந்தாரே வடகாசி தென்காசி வழிதோறும் சித்தரடி அடியாத்தி முடிஞ்சாக்கா அடையாளம் கண்டுபிடி கண்டாரே காணாதத கண்டாரே கண்டாரே கைலாசம் கண்டாரே
ஐயா சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர ஐயா சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர பேரறிய உறவறிய தவத்துறவறிய உள்ளொன்று புறம் ஒன்று பேசறிய உமை சிவன் போலே வேறறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர 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 காலையும் மாலையும் கணக்கறிய நாடும் கோளும் நான் அறிய பாலையும் சோலையும் பிரித்தறிய பரம பரஞ்சோதி அடி சிறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ஐயா ஊனறிய உயிர் உடலறிய மோன பெருவழியை நான் அறிய ஆணறிய பெண்ணறி அறிய ஆதி சிதம்பரம் நான் அறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர சாமி உன்னெது பொருளது கண்டறிய முகமும் மோகமும் கொண்டறிய ஆசை பேராசை அறிந்தறிய அம்பலமாடியை மறந்தறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர 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 சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர ஐயா சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர ஆகம வேதங்கள் படித்தறிய 6 குளங்களில் குடித்தறிய யாகம் யோகமும் செய்தறிய ஓமுகம் பார்த்து பணிந்தறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சும்மா ஒருபோது இருந்தறிய சுத்த அசுத்தங்கள் பார்த்தறிய ஆத்மனி வேதன செய்தறிய அர்த்தநாரீசன் அடிசிறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர சாமி ஏடறிய சொல் எடுத்தறிய ஏற்றம் தாழ்வு நான் அறிய வீடறிய கொடுக்காதறிய சோமசுந்தரன மறந்தறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர உணவறிய ஊரும் உணர்வறிய உள்யது வெளியது நான் அறிய கணவறிய நனவறிய கனக சமாவரி அடி சிறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர 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 ஐயா சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர இரவறிய ஒரு பகலறிய இறப்பு பிறப்பு நான் அறிய வரவறிய கை செலவறிய பரசிவ திருவடி மறந்தறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர சாமி சூதறிய கொடு ஆதறிய சூத்திரம் சாத்திரம் நான் அறிய தீதறிய நன்மை சிறிதறிய திகம்பர தேசிகன் அடி சிறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர சாமி வழியறிய கொண்ட வழியறிய பாவ புண்ணியம் நான் அறிய குலமறியேன் பிறர் நலமறிய நீத கண்டன மறந்தறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 அரகர அரகர சிவ 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 அரகர அரகர சிவ 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 அரகர அரகர சுகமறிய துக்கமறிய சொந்தமும் பந்தமும் நான் அறிய அகமறிய சுத்த புறமறிய அரும்பெருங்கோதி அடி சிறிய சிவ 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 அரகர அரகர 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 ஐயா சிவ 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 அரகர அரகர சிவ 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 அரகர சிவ 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 அரகர அரகர சிவ 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 அரகர யோகி ஐயா சிவ 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 அரகர சாமி தோப்பு ஐயா சிவ 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 அரகர அரகர 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 சிவ 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 அரகர
சிவ சிவ என்றே தெளிகில ரூப சிவ சிவ வாயுவோண்டே துள்ளடங்க சிவ சிவ என்றே தெளிகில ரூப சிவ சிவ வாயுவோண்டே துள்ளடங்க சிவ சிவ வாய தெளிவினுள் உள்ளாக சிவ சிவ வாயும் திருவருளாமே சிவ சிவ வாய தெளிவினுள் உள்ளாக சிவ சிவ வாயும் திருவருளாமே
focus. I search for Parabrahman like the lotus, displace darkness and pray. Vinayaga, embrace my soul, awaken the Kundalini, my Lord, take control. Cause I really don't wanna just keep on falling down. That's my supreme Lord Shiva, save me now, enlighten me like the 63-9 Margal. Grace me Saiva Siddhantam like Meghandan. Sivaya Namo, Lord bring me back home. Come as Lord Krishna, show me Vishwarupam. My Lord Muruga, you are one and the same. Arumugangal within the third eye flame. My Amma, divine mother, Parasakti. Without you, how can I or anything be? As Anavam shatters to you, I surrender. My Lord Nanda Raja, the cosmic dancer. Seeing you dance, Sarvam Sivamayam at every glance. Lord, I'm seeing you dance, Sarvam Sivamayam at every glance.
Siva Siva yandre teligila rooma Siva Siva vaayuvunde tulladanga Siva Siva yandre teligila rooma Siva Siva vaayuvunde tulladanga Siva Siva vaaya telivinul ullaga Siva Siva vaayuvunde tiruvarulame Siva Siva vaaya telivinul ullaga Siva Siva vaayuvunde tiruvarulame
மலர்ந்த மணி சுடரே நிகின்றியது திருமை தீமை புதனே கலியுக பகவதே சிவனை உடனே என்னை ஆட்கொள்வாயாக திருவமத்தின் மனதை புரிந்தருள்வாயாக தவணை முறை பெற்றாம் நிரந்தரம் முந்தரி சண்ட மோட்சம் அனையும் இந்த நட்சத்திரம் மூர்த்திகள் விஷ்ணு பிரம்மா முன் உள்ளடக்கம் வாழ்த்திட வேண்டும் ஏனெனில் இந்த தொடக்கம் நடனம் நர்த்தனம் இனி ஆடும் பொழுது சிவலோகம் நடுங்கும் திப்பொரு வெடிக்கும் தர்ம சங்கடம் தீரும் பேராலை வரட்டும் நான் தயார் நிலை மரண பய வினைகளை அவள் கணி காவல் கண்கள் உன்னை காண அவள் நிழல் போல தொடரு பாடல் பொழுது வேண்டுமே பாவம் அனுப்பி வேறொன்றும் இல்லை நிலைமை மாற வேண்டும் என்பார்கள் உன் தாள் சரணம் ஈசான சர்வ வித்யானாம் ஈஸ்வர சர்வபூதானாம் பிரம்மாதிபதிர் பிரம்மணோதிபதிர் பிரம்மா சிவோ மே அஸ்து சதா சிவோம் தத்புருஷாய வித்மகே மகாதேவாய தீமஹி தன்னோ ருத்ர பிரச்சோதயாத் கண்ணுடையானே முள பொருளே காத்திருந்த நாள் பல கடவுளே கைலாயம் வரை என் மேல் முறையீடு நிலகண்டா திவ்ய தரிசனம் கொடுச்சினம் கொண்ட தமிழ் மகன் இசைப்படையுடன் நடைபொடும் இவன் வினை பல கண்டேன் துணையாய் முனை கொண்டேன் விட்டு கட்டை சர்ச்சைகள் பல உண்டு இனி என் மனதில் நீ நின்று கொடியவனை கொண்டு வென்று அர்த்தநாரேஸ்வரா உடல் முழுதும் திருநீரு கங்காதர கடல் நதிகள் உன்னோடு நவரச தாண்டவம் திரிசூலம் கைலாயம் உன்வசம் கோடுடைய செவியோனே என அருள்வாயாக சிவனே திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்
சிவ சிவ என்றே தெலிகில ரூம சிவ சிவ வாயுவுண்டே துள்ளடங்க சிவ சிவ என்றே தெலிகில ரூம சிவ சிவ வாயுவுண்டே துள்ளடங்க சிவ சிவ வாய தெலிவினுள் உள்ளாக சிவ சிவ வாயும் திருவருளாமே சிவ சிவ வாய தெலிவினுள் உள்ளாக சிவ சிவ வாயும் திருவருளாமே
ஈசா 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 அருணாச்சல ஈசா வாசா 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 அண்ணாமலை வாசா நேசா 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 உண்ணாமுலை நேசா காடா இடை காட்டு சித்தா மௌன உபதேசா லிங்கா லிங்கா அருவும் குருவும் ஆன அஷ்ட நாதலிங்கா லிங்கோத்பவனே அயனறி தேட எழுந்த அக்னிலிங்கா அப்புலிங்கா இந்திரலிங்கா சந்திர குபேரலிங்கா எப்படி அன்பர் அழைப்பார் அப்படி யாது வருணலிங்கா ஹரவோம் ஹர சிவவோம் உன்னருளால் பிறந்தோம் அறிவோம் துணை மறவோம் பாடி கிரிவலமாய் வருவோம் வருவோம் ஈசா 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 அருணாச்சல ஈசா வாசா 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 அண்ணாமலை வாசா சேஷா 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 சேஷ குருநாதா பேசா மோன ஞானமாகும் சத்குரு சிவநாதா ரமணா 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 பகவான் ஸ்ரீ ரமணா அகமே சிவமா தன்னை அறிந்த முனியே சிவஹரணா யோகி 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 ராம் சுரத்குமாரா விசிறி சாமி ஆகி விளங்கும் வைகுண்ட நாராயணா சிவாய சிவாய ஹரஹர சிவாய குகை நமச்சிவாய பவாய குண சிவ சம்பு வடிவான குரு நமச்சிவாய குருவின் அடி சரணம் சரணம் வேண்டும் வரம் தரணும் பௌர்ணமி வேளையிலே கிரிவல பாதை துணை வரணும் வரணும் ஈசா 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 அருணாச்சல ஈசா வாசா 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 அண்ணாமலை வாசா அண்ணா 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 அஷ்டநந்திலிங்கா கண்ணால் கண்டது கொண்டது புண்ணியம் அஷ்டதீர்த்தலிங்கா மன்னா விண்ணா அடிமுடி என ஹரி தேடும் ஏகபாதா மண்ணே பொன்னாய் ரசவாதம் செய் சித்த கணநாதா அப்பா அப்பா பலமுனி மலைக்குள் உலவும் சிவலோகா தப்பே செய்யும் தயவு காட்டிடும் அம்பிகாயானவா அம்மா அம்மா அருணையில் அடுக்கு லிங்கம் ஆயிரமா அருணாச்சல சிவ என மலை சுற்றும் மனம் சிவாலயமா வருவோம் வழிபடுவோம் மிக பணிவாய் பதம் பணிவோம் அருணாச்சல சிவவோம் பல தீர்த்தமாடி வருவோம் ஈசா 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 அருணாச்சல ஈசா வாசா 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 அண்ணாமலை வாசா விமலா விமலா விமல சொரூபா மும்மலமற்றவனே கமலாலயம் தலை கிள்ளி எரிந்த அருணாச்சல சிவனே அருணா அருணா அருணகிரியாளும் ஆதி செழுஞ்சுடரே கருணாகரனே சிவனே ஆதி அங்கமிலா ஒளியே தீவா 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 கார்த்திகை சுடரோனே வாவா வாவா அணி அண்ணாமலை அட்டநாரீசனே சித்தா 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 சித்த சிகாமணியே சொத்தா பத்தா எல்லாம் நீயே சோதிமலையானே வேண்டும் வரம் வேண்டும் உன்னை மறவா மனம் வேண்டும் அண்ணாமலை ஒளியே உன்னை ஜோதியாக வேண்டும் அண்ணாமலை சுடரே உன்னை ஜோதியாக வேண்டும் शिवाय परमेश्वराय शशिशेखराय नमो शिवाय परमेश्वराय शशिशेखराय नमो भवाय गुणसंभवाय शिवताण्डवाय नमो भवाय गुणसंभवाय शिवताण्डवाय नमो शिवाय परमेश्वराय शशिशेखराय नमो शिवाय परमेश्वराय शशिशेखराय नमो भवाय गुणसंभवाय சிவதாண்டவாய நமவோ
பவாய குணசம்பவாய சிவதாண்டவாய நமவோ
சிவாய பரமேஸ்வராய சசிசேகராய நமவோ பவாய குணசம்பவாய சிவதாண்டவாய நமவோ சிவாய பரமேஸ்வராய சசிசேகராய நமவோ பவாய குணசம்பவாய சிவதாண்டவாய நமவோ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணச்சடா
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 அருணாச்சல சிவ அருண சிவா
அருணாச்சல சிவ அருண சிவா
அருணாச்சல சிவ அருண சிவா
அருணாச்சல சிவ அருண சிவா
ஹரஹர சங்கர ஜெய ஜெய சங்கர ஹரஹர சங்கர ஜெய ஜெய சங்கர
ஹரஹர சங்கர ஜெய ஜெய சங்கர ஹரஹர சங்கர ஜெய ஜெய சங்கர
ஹரஹர சங்கர ஜெய ஜெய சங்கர ஹரஹர சங்கர ஜெய ஜெய சங்கர
ஹரஹர சங்கர ஜெய ஜெய சங்கர ஹரஹர சங்கர ஜெய ஜெய சங்கர
சிவாய பரமேஸ்வராய சசிசேகராய நமவோ
சிவாய பரமேஸ்வராய சசிசேகராய நமவோ
பவாய குணசம்பவாய சிவதாண்டவாய நமவோ
பவாய குணசம்பவாய சிவதாண்டவாய நமவோ
சிவாய பரமேஸ்வராய சசிசேகராய நமவோ பவாய குணசம்பவாய சிவதாண்டவாய நமவோ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருண சிவா
அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருண சிவா
அருணாச்சல சிவ அருண சிவா
அருணாச்சல சிவ அருண சிவா
நித்யானந்தா ஓ நித்யானந்தா நித்யானந்தா ஓ நித்யன் கருணையில் இறங்கினார் மனமொரு தருணம் தலைவனாய் அழைக்க கருணையில் நித்யன் கருணையில் இறங்கினார் அகமதன் இருளை க்ஷணமது கலைந்து மகதிட தியானமதை நித்யன் வழங்கினார் அகமதன் இருளை க்ஷணமது கலைந்து மகதிட தியானமதை நித்யன் வழங்கினார் பணிவோடு கனிவாய் அன்புடன் வணங்க நித்யனின் தாசன் நீ என அருளினார் பணிவோடு கனிவாய் அன்புடன் வணங்க நித்யனின் தாசன் நீ என அருளினார் பிறவியின் உயர்ந்த பயனதை அடைய பரவசம் மிகுந்த நிலைக்கென்னை உயர்த்தினார் பிறவியின் உயர்ந்த பயனதை அடைய கென்னை குணம் தலைவனாய் அழைக்க கருணையில் நித்யம் கருணையில் இறங்கினார்
பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே பாடும் உன்னை நான் பாட வைத்தேனே பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே பாடும் உன்னை நான் பாட வைத்தேனே பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே கூட்டும் இசையும் கூட்டின் முறையும் காட்டும் என்னிடம் கதை சொல்ல வந்தாயோ கூட்டும் இசையும் கூட்டின் முறையும் காட்டும் என்னிடம் கதை சொல்ல வந்தாயோ பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே பாடும் உன்னை நான் பாட வைத்தேனே பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே அசையும் பொருளில் இசையும் நானே அசையும் பொருளில் இசையும் நானே ஆடும் கலையின் நாயகன் நானே அசையும் பொருளில் இசையும் நானே ஆடும் கலையின் நாயகன் நானே எதிலும் இயங்கும் இயக்கம் நானே எதிலும் இயங்கும் இயக்கம் நானே எல் இசை நின்றால் அடங்கும் உலகே நான் அசைந்தால் அசையும் அகிலமெல்லாமே நாம் அசைந்தால் அசையும் அகிலமெல்லாமே அறிவாய் மனிதாவும் ஆணவம் பேரிடா நான் அசைந்தால் அசையும் அகிலமெல்லாமே அறிவாய் மனிதாவும் ஆணவம் பேரிடா ஆடவாயனோடு பாட வந்தவனில் பாடுவாய இனி மூட வந்ததும் பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே பாடும் உன்னை நான் பாட வைத்தேனே பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே கட்டிக்கம் திகதிகம் திகதி தனிதபதி தனிதடி தனிதனித பமகரி சமகரி பமகர பமகரி மக பமர பமதனிதம் झुमक झुमक जन झुमक जन झुमक झुमक दिंधा दिंधा आ झुमक झुमक दिंधा इंदा सगरी सरिणी सरिणी ददा दरि दनि जब मामा नहीं दरी गरी मगरी तारिगा कजम कजम तारिगा निधरी गमा
Om Nithyanandeshwara Paramashivasamarambam Nithyanandeshwari Paramashakti Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. I welcome you all with my love and respect. I welcome all the living, practicing Hindus, everyone sitting with us all over the world. I welcome all of you with my love and blessings. Paramashiva's message directly from Kailasa. Listen. Conscious sovereignty not only brings you the freedom, it brings right purpose for your freedom. Not just health, right reason why you should be healthy. Not just wealth, right reason why you should be wealthy. Not just freedom, right reason what for you need freedom, what kind of freedom you need. Understand? Not just powers, what kind of powers you need for your fulfillment. Not just freedom, bringing the purpose for your freedom. Not just bliss, bringing the purpose for your existence. I tell you, the beauty of conscious sovereignty is the moment you hear this truth, get initiated, your inner space expands to that level, you can never go back to the old, past, same old personality or identity. You can never back to be same old. That is why that initiation is always called, Shakti Pada is always called giving you second birth, rebirth. Initiated one who got the Shakti Pada is called Dvija, reborn. Because once you receive Shakti Pada, you can never go back to the same old existence, same old identity. Once in a while you can have mood swing, that's your freedom. But you can never go back to be the same person. Listen. The most beautiful, absolutely beautiful thing that can happen to life is constantly delete past. Constantly upgrade yourself. The more and more you get into a space where you cannot go back to your past, the more and more you will find higher way of existing. Higher form of existing. Listen. I have seen some of the most beautiful beings in my life. My own Guru, Arunagiri Yogeshwara himself. An extraordinarily beautiful and graceful. I have seen most graceful, beautiful beings in my life from all walks of life. My own Guru Arunagiri Yogeshwara, Raghupati Yogi, Ram Surat Kumar, at least all these names I uttered, they are all not bound by certain responsibility or organization or organized living. But living inside the organization, very organized living, but very graceful beings I have seen. Srimad Swami Gautamananda ji. He is still alive. If you are in Chennai or Tamil Nadu, never miss having his darshan. He lives in Chennai, Mailapur, Ramakrishna Mat. Tiruchi Swami, Kailasa Ashram. Of course, Tiruchi Swami is not in the body. He has attained Jiva Samadhi. Some of these beings, especially Srimad Swami Gautamananda ji, he is within the organization. Very organized living. But I have seen him in close quarters. The kind of the conscious sovereignty he manifests. An absolute clarity. Extremely powerful understanding of Vedanta, highest truths, unimaginable. Same way, Swami Kamalatmananda, he is still alive. He is the head of the Madurai Ramakrishna Mat. I had the fortune of sitting at his feet and learning. He radiates the grace of Shiva Bhakti. I have seen such wonderful people in my life who demonstrated, who proved that conscious sovereignty, manifesting it, living it is possible in all walks of life. in all walks of life. Whether you are a free living individual or living in an organization or even married and living with wife, a householder life, I have seen so many graceful people in my life radiating conscious sovereignty. Listen carefully. Some of the greatest revelations I received from my Guru, Arunagiri Yogeshwara. And when I started implementing it in my life, and when I started teaching, and when my disciples who are initiated by me, when they started implementing in their life, and when they came back and gave me the feedback, the right, wrong, good, bad, success, failure, compilation of all this knowledge, the essence of all this I am sharing with you all. So listen, understand. Three things I wanted to convey. Conscious sovereignty brings not just health for the way you want to live your life. Conscious sovereignty not just brings freedom, it brings freedom with a purpose. For example, when you are suffering with diabetes, eating sugar is not freedom, it is a suicide. You can't say, oh, can't I even have a freedom to eat sugar? People cry, saying, are they kept in prison? Don't they have the freedom to eat sugar? Hey, listen. When you are having diabetic, freedom to eat sugar is not freedom, it is suicide. Freedom to have the food for your health in a tasty way is freedom. Freedom to do what you want with the right purpose is freedom. See, realizing the right purpose of your life and having freedom to live it, progress towards it is freedom. I feel so happy when I see Soumya and her mother, both of them in the Hyderabad, when they come, religiously they will sit. Especially mother is elderly person, but even if she feels little sleepy, because now it's already 11 o'clock, late night in India. But I have never seen her missing the satsang. Actually, this is freedom. Even some of the Adinavasis are not that regular. They try to crib, saying, oh, Are we put in jail or what? Anytime the satsang, we will have to come and sit or what? 11 o'clock, are we not having freedom to sleep? Hey, when there is a satsang going on, if you have all the infrastructure and you are freed from all other work or responsibility to attend the satsang is the real freedom. So freedom with a purpose. Understand? Freedom for your purpose is the freedom. Health for your purpose is health. Wealth for your purpose is wealth. I tell you, last 3 years studying many different ideas about economy and many different countries' economy policies, how it is geopolitical centered, how it is the ideology like communism or socialism or capitalism centered, and how various countries function their economy. There are some countries which gives high interest for deposits. There are some countries which gives minus interest. Means they take money from you to keep your money. So all kinds of economies I studied. I wanted to tell you all few things. It is actually knowing your higher purpose, conscious sovereignty makes you really wealthy. I tell you, still planet Earth functions based on Varnashrama Dharma. Cosmos functions on Varnashrama Dharma. After studying so many countries' economical policies, how the economies are kept alive, to come up with a right economical policy closest to Veda-agamas. See, I wanted to implement the Veda-agamas as it is, map it as it is. So the closest possible structure on which I can map, so I can fine-tune the whole thing to focus as Paramashiva wanted, the whole Vedagamic civilization. So I have spent huge resources, energy, time, ultimately Paramashiva's blessings and samadhi and revelations he gives in samadhi. With everything I thoroughly analyzed, I came to the realization, planet Earth runs based on Varnashrama Dharma. Wherever Vaishyas exist with their Vaishya Dharma, that nations become wealthy. The economical intellectuals, their thought currents and the ecosystem they want to nourish. I am studying the Japanese economical intellectuals and the ecosystem they are nourishing. The US economical intellectuals and the ecosystem they are nourishing. the Indian economical intellectuals and the ecosystem they are nourishing. All this I studied. Finally, I realized, I could see clearly what exactly Paramashiva revealed in Vedas and Agamas and penned down in Dharmashastras. That exact Varnashrama Dharma is the most successful strategy for life. I was studying elaborately. I'll give you just understandings. This will be directly useful for your life. There are many countries which attract the investments which is not needed for them. Those investments become load on them, and then they try to lend with less interest rate just to rotate that money and keep that money circulating because they don't know what to do. And those loans become NPAs, non-performing assets, in 3 to 5 years. It's a vicious circle. They are caught in vicious circle, having wealth without purpose. The conscious sovereignty is not nourished. Listen. If the conscious sovereignty in you is nourished, you build muscles, not fat. You build strength, not load. Same way in your economic principles. I am not saying money is bad. Be very clear. Money is good when you have the purpose. If not, you will not know what to do with it. I have always seen how the Indian middle class people think, first let me become engineer, then I will think what I want to become in my life. By the time you become engineer, you are already a fool and you don't know what to do with your life. And you don't even, see, actually after completely dampening you with the dumbest ideas and all outdated machineries which can be seen only in museum. Only those machines you will see in your workshops when you study engineering. The great museum pieces. Only after all this is done, the certificate engineer is given to you. So by the time you absolutely developed the mentality of extremely non-involving and lazy, and your expectation, just because you are here, the society should serve you. That mentality is the source of all corruption you find anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. Listen carefully. Many times, just like Indian middle class mind thinks, oh, let me become first engineer, then I'll think what I want to become, what I want to do in my life. Same way, you guys think, let me first just acquire money, then I will do what I want to do with that money. No. First, have conscious sovereignty. The society has become such now, none of you are in poverty and none of you are going to die without food. The moment you found your basic needs, food, shelter, clothes, focus on conscious sovereignty, realizing the core purpose of your existence. That will tell you the purpose for which you want wealth. So when you start working for wealth itself, you will continue to fulfill the purpose. So your life itself will be a joy. Your path and goal will be one and the same. You will be enjoying the very path, not waiting for the goal to celebrate your life. The path itself became. I tell you, person who made path itself as a celebration lives in eternal vacation. See, I live in eternal vacation. I work 24/7 and I live in eternal vacation. I work actually 24/7 in multiple dimensions, multiple time zones, not just horizontal time zones, vertical time zones also. Understand? Especially if you are young. When I say young, connected with me below 30. If you have connected with me below 30, you are eternally young. I will never let you age. I don't like getting aged. I like getting matured, getting old or getting aged. So I will not do anything to you which I don't like. I will keep you eternally young. If you are blessed, this is the time to find conscious sovereignty. Focus on that. If you met me before 30, I make you 16 and keep you 16 ever. Listen. When you find the idea of conscious sovereignty, you will never do the stupidity of questioning your life. Oh, why can't I eat sugar? Eating sugar is not wrong. But when you have diabetes, eating sugar is suicidal. So you are not controlled saying don't take sugar. You are protected. With the understanding taking sugar is suicidal when you are diabetic. Even otherwise, taking sugar is not good for health. That is separate. I am telling you, listen. People think, let me find wealth, then I'll decide what I want to do. Hey, by the time you find wealth, you abused you and built a wrong mental setup. When will you break that? That breaking that becomes a big headache. I tell you, with conscious sovereignty, if you find wealth, you will live in absolute aparigraha. I tell you. Listen, I have seen some of the most graceful beings demonstrating minimalist lifestyle, literally having the amount of wealth equivalent to kings. Whether Tiruchi Swami is the founder and head of the Kailasa Mahasamsthana in Bangalore, which has branches all over India. He built a beautiful Devi temple, which is literally now golden temple. The whole Garbhagriha, Vimanam is golden and Garbha Mandir is golden. He literally built a golden temple for Devi. And the amount of wealth around him and the minimalist life he lived. He had everything, including golden throne, crown, jewels, everything. He will sit in the golden throne, silver throne, on those timings when he is receiving the Pada Puja or when he is doing his responsibilities. But in his personal life, he will not take one more extra betel leaf from his own garden. He will not waste one betel leaf from his own garden. And he will not get the third set of dress for his personal room. I asked him once, Swami, it is all for you. Why can't we have the few more sets of dress? He told in Tamil, hey, Simmasanam, Koda, Sapparam, Samaram, Ellam, Namakku Vela, Urima illa, Odama illa. Means the palki, all the umbrella, paraphernalia, throne, all that is our job, responsibility. Means neither we are the owners, nor it is ours. Listen. When you find conscious sovereignty, you will have the ultimate clarity about wealth. Why wealth? And you will accumulate it with the right mental setup. Wealth will never bind you. It will only be under you. It can never imbalance you or delude you. Make you behave, think unscientifically. Listen. Wealth is one of the drug. Can make you think irrationally and unscientifically. When the greed for wealth enters, you commit crimes which will not allow end of the day for you to enjoy the wealth, even if you acquire. That's a funny thing. Listen, greed for wealth is nothing but unconscious lifestyle. The conscious sovereignty will make you realize purpose of everything, purpose of health, purpose of wealth. See, what is the purpose of my health? I should be able to sit in Padmasana for any number of hours I want to sit, and my brain should be fresh, alive, to download the Akashic records and radiate it, share it with you all. That's all is the purpose of my health. So because I know the purpose, I keep myself healthy for that purpose. Over. My purpose is my body should cooperate with me to be in samadhi continuously and sit and initiate people, teach people whenever I want to do. That's all. Because the purpose is clear, I keep myself healthy for that. Many times, people want to be healthy, they start building six-pack, gymming, bodybuilding, all that. But after a few days, that six-pack and muscles, bodybuilding, the showing, that becomes so important and addictive. People take the banned drugs, steroids to look and lose health. Please understand, there are many people who build so unconsciously without knowing the purpose, they lose the body itself in the process of building the body. See how many bodybuilders die. By taking the wrong drugs, steroids to show. I tell you, same way, wealth. There are so many people unconsciously acquired wealth and don't know what to do. That load kills them. Our people around them exploit them, bind them, destroy their life, and life is lost. So in every level, conscious sovereignty is the first truth you should start experiencing. This should be your priority. Understand, not just wealth, purpose of wealth. Not just health, purpose of health. Not just living unconsciously, purpose why you exist is the basic need for life. Listen, delusion is suicidal. Delusion is suicidal. In every level, delusion is suicidal. I have seen people, the most graceful people, and I have also seen most stupid people. I have seen people not just talking something in the morning, talking something in the evening. Even in one conversation, the beginning they will talk some logic, and just in few statements they will completely opposite to the logic with which they started. I have seen sometimes people having one logic and talking for the other logic. I have seen that level loses. That kind of deluded people. Those are the moments I feel compassionate for myself. I feel really compassionate for myself. Anyhow, I think now everyone feels, is this me? Is this me? Is this me Swamiji is talking about? Is Swamiji thinking of me and telling this statement? Is Swamiji thinking of me and telling this statement? Anyhow, listen. I have seen all kinds of people. With my experience, I wanted you to know, time spent on understanding conscious sovereignty is the best time spent. Understand? Listen. Even manifesting powers manifest the right power for your purpose. Understand? The purpose you want to exist. I tell you, if you find the conscious sovereignty, you will just feel eternally young. See, finding conscious sovereignty is not some difficult. You just need to know the larger purpose of your existence. Just be scientific, logical, rational to your higher purpose, larger purpose. Stop the shitty idea of you have only one life. That is the biggest shit dumped on you. You have been brainwashed with unwashable shit called you have only one life. Drop that shit. Your consciousness assuming bodies after bodies till you achieve your sovereignty. These are fundamental cosmic truths. Start looking at your life with these fundamental cosmic truths. Understand? Stop associating yourself with the delusion or the impact of drug called delusion on your brain as you. See, the impact of the delusion drug your brain forms a fog called mind. You associate yourself with that and make your life's decisions, which is absolute unscientific. Listen, absolute unscientific. Understand that. Just listen. Be scientifically scientific, logically logical, rationally rational. As I said just now, Tiruchi Swamigal or Swami Gautamanandaji, the wealth around them is much more than kings will have. But they lived such absolute lifestyle because they know the purpose of wealth. I learned exactly that from my gurus. Kings living minimalistic lifestyle is possible only in Hindu tradition. Because if you know the conscious sovereignty, you will know the minimalistic lifestyle is powerful. It's an absolute power. This whole Chaturmasya, I name it as conscious sovereignty Chaturmasya. Manifesting powers through conscious sovereignty. See, manifest the right powers. There are many powers you may not need. That may just become load on you. Manifest the right power. Especially manifest powers by breaking the prenatal patterns called karma and postnatal karma called patterns. Break them and manifest powers. You will know exactly what kind of powers you need. If you are addicted to food pattern, break them. Then you will see the Nirahara manifest as a power, and not only you become healthy and you are free from addictions, you listen. If you are addicted to food patterns, I have a great news for you. Break those addictions through proper Nirahara Samyama step by step and manifest powers. You will see not only you become healthy, you will live long, because anything which addicts you, binds you, that pattern shows you the secret key for the powers you need to manifest. If you are greedy, bound by greed, deluded by greed, doesn't want to take responsibility, but you want everything, start practicing minimalistic lifestyle. You will manifest so much wealth, and you will enjoy the wealth, not wealth will be enjoying you. I tell you, many people just do watchman job, night watchman job, without sleeping, protecting their wealth. So they are not using the wealth, wealth is using them. People who are not able to sleep due to their worries about wealth, they are not enjoying the wealth, wealth is enjoying them. Like first few days you enjoy, you smoke, then cigarette smokes you. Understand what I am trying to tell you. Many times your delusion shows bad people as your friend, good people as your enemies. The pressure of hormones, chemicals, frustrations inside you deludes you so badly. Conscious sovereignty is the only solution. Break from all postnatal, prenatal patterns. list all the prenatal, postnatal patterns and karmas bind. Those patterns hold the secret key. What powers you should manifest and what kind of powers is right for you. I'll give you a few minutes. I'll give you Shaktipada and be here with you all to help you all to identify your patterns, break them, and manifest as powers. Let's start. First day. Conscious sovereignty, power manifestation process in this Chaturmasya. Get paper and pen, sit. Pen down all the patterns which chains you, binds you. Start writing.
அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் புவி எண்ணாத யோகமை கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்திற்கெட்டா ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் ஊரகிற்கு வந்தம்மை ஆட்கொள்ள தேவர்களை காத்திட வைத்தான் தாயாய் பேரருள் புரிய உடல் ரோமம் சிலிர்த்திட நித்யனாய் வந்து அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் புவி எண்ணாத யோகமை கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்திற்கெட்டா ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் திருவண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான். கிளப்பி விட்டேனில் பர தத்துவம் கற்பித்த பாரமஞானியாய் ஞானக்கண் கொடுத்த தமக்கே ரூபம் காட்டிய மாய வித்தை செய்யும் நித்யன் வித்தை கிளப்பி விட்டேனில் பர தத்துவம் கற்பித்த பாரமஞானியாய் ஞானக்கண் கொடுத்த தமக்கே ரூபம் காட்டிய மாய வித்தை செய்யும் நித்யன் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் புவி எண்ணாத யோகமை கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்திற்கெட்டா ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் நித்யன் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான். மெய்ப்பொருளான நித்யனை ஆழ்ந்து சிந்திக்க ஐயனின் ரூபம் விளங்கும் தாண்டும் சிவசக்தியாக ஐம்பொறிகளுக்கும் புலனாகின்ற நித்யன் மெய்ப்பொருளான நித்யனை ஆழ்ந்து சிந்திக்க ஐயனின் ரூபம் விளங்கும் தாண்டும் சிவசக்தியாக ஐம்பொறிகளுக்கும் புலனாகின்ற நித்யன் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் புவி எண்ணாத யோகமை கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்திற்கெட்டா ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் திருவண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான். புறமும் இருந்து உயிர் பக்குவமாக்கிடும் பரமனாம் நித்யன் ஞானப்பாடித்தங்கள் ஏழும் கொண்ட ஞானமும் ஆகியே ஆண்டிடும் நித்யன் உள்ளும் புறமும் இருந்து உயிர் பக்குவமாக்கிடும் பரமனாம் நித்யன் ஞானப்பாடித்தங்கள் ஏழும் கொண்ட ஞானமும் ஆகியே ஆண்டிடும் நித்யன் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் புவி எண்ணாத யோகமை கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்திற்கெட்டா ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் நித்யன் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான். வாக்கியங்களான அருள் கவிதைகள் நித்யனின் மகிமை சொல்லிடும் மகிமை அர்ப்பித்த பின்னே சிவசக்தி ஸ்வரூபமாய் தோன்றிடும் நித்யன் ஆப்த வாக்கியங்களான அருள் கவிதைகள் நித்யனின் மகிமை சொல்லிடும் மகிமை அர்ப்பித்த பின்னே சிவசக்தி ஸ்வரூபமாய் தோன்றிடும் நித்யன் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் புவி எண்ணாத யோகமை கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்திற்கெட்டா ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், திருவண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான். தனிலே நித்யன் உன்னத நீலை ஊழத்தில் வருமே, விண்ணவர் மன்னவர் ஒப்ப அகிலம் ஆளும் கீர்த்தியுட ஈசன் நித்யானந்தன். புண்ணிய சேத்திரம் தனிலே நித்யன் விண்ணவர் மன்னவர் ஒப்ப அகிலம் ஆளும் கீர்த்தியுட ஈசன் நித்யானந்தன். அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்துக்கெட்டார். ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், நித்யன் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான். உப்புரி நூலை தரித்தவன் ஐயன் வேதியன் வெந்நீர் பூசிய நித்யன் அண்டத்தின் மூலம் காரணன் முடிவற்ற ஆனந்தத்தை தொண்டர் கருள்வான். உப்புரி நூலை தரித்தவன் ஐயன் வேதியன் வெந்நீர் பூசிய நித்யன் அண்டத்தின் மூலம் காரணன் முடிவற்ற ஆனந்தத்தை தொண்டர் கருள்வான். அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், புவி எண்ணாத யோகமே கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்திற்கெட்டார். ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், நித்யன் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான். பேரறிவு பொருள் நித்யன் உலகாளும் ஊரை மன்னவர் கழித்தவன். அர்த்தநாரீஸ்வரனாக அருள் செய்திட்டே எம்மை ஆட்கொண்டிடும் நித்யன். பேரறிவு பொருள் நித்யன் உலகாளும் ஊரை மன்னவர் கழித்தவன். அர்த்தநாரீஸ்வரனாக அருள் செய்திட்டே எம்மை ஆட்கொண்டிடும் நித்யன். அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், புவி எண்ணாத யோகமே கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்திற்கெட்டார். ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், நித்யன் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான். பிறவி பீரவியாய் தேவர்கள் பரம்பொருளான பரமனையை தேட ஈசன் பிறவாமல் ஆட்கொண்டு எம்மை ஒரு தத்துவம் தன்னை உரைத்திட நித்யனாய். பிறவி பீரவியாய் தேவர்கள் பரம்பொருளான பரமனையை தேட ஈசன் பிறவாமல் ஆட்கொண்டு எம்மை ஒரு தத்துவம் தன்னை உரைத்திட நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், புவி எண்ணாத யோகமே கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்திற்கெட்டார். ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், திருவண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான். வடிவமுடையவன் என்னும் எண்ணம் கடந்த முதற் பொருளானவன். பிறவி எழுத்தே சலிக்க அருள் தாகத்தை தீர்த்தன் வீணைகள் களைந்தான். பொன்னில்லா வடிவமுடையவன் என்னும் எண்ணம் கடந்த முதற் பொருளானவன். பிறவி எழுத்தே சலிக்க அருள் தாகத்தை தீர்த்தன் வீணைகள் களைந்தான். அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், புவி எண்ணாத யோகமே கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்திற்கெட்டார். ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான். ஆனந்தமாய் என்னுள் நித்யன் முக்தி மார்க்கத்தை காட்டி விட்டிருந்தருள்வான். மாலையன் காணாத சோதியன் தெளித்தேனாய் இனித்திட ஞானம் அருள்வான். ஆனந்தமாய் என்னுள் நித்யன் முக்தி மார்க்கத்தை காட்டி விட்டிருந்தருள்வான். மாலித்தேனாய் இனித்திட ஞானம் அருள்வான். அண்ணாமல்தான், புவி எண்ணாத யோகமே கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்திற்கெட்டார். ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், நித்யன் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான். வெற்றி குதிரை எதியே அடியார்கள் கூரைகளை ஏற்கின்ற நித்யன் சூழும் உறவினரோடு வந்த பாசந்தனை யாரு தேயம்மை காப்பான். வெற்றி குதிரை எரியே அடியார்கள் கூரைகளை ஏற்கின்ற நித்யன் சூழும் உறவினரோடு வந்த பாசம் தானே யாரு தேயம்மை காப்பான். அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான், புவி எண்ணாத யோகமே கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்துக்கெட்டார். ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருள நித்யனை பற்றுவதொன்றே உபாயம் என்பதானால் பற்றி பிடித்தோம் நித்யன் பாதம் ஒன்றி சதம் அவன் நாமம் சொல்லியே நித்யானந்தம் கொள்ளுவோம் நித்யனை பற்றுவதொன்றே உபாயம் என்பதானால் பற்றி பிடித்தோம் நித்யம் பாதம் ஒன்றி சதம் அவன் நாமம் சொல்லியே நித்யானந்தம் கொள்ளுவோம் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் புதிய நாத யோகமே கொண்டிட நித்யன் ஈரேழு லோகத்தில் கெட்டார் ஈசன் முக்தி நெறி அருளவே நித்யனாய் அண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான் திருவண்ணாமலையில் பிறந்தான்
Nithyananda, 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 Dhyana Singha Nithyananda, Nithyananda, Nithya Singha Nithyananda, Nithya Dhyana Nithyananda, Dhyana Singha Nithyananda, Nithyananda, Nithya Singha Nithyananda.